Hi guys, I'm Laura.
And I'm Fireese.
So today we're going to talk about mental health in school. And the reason why we came to this conversation was because the other day I was doing an interview for my book and I was saying that there should be a mandatory course on mental health strategies to help students be able to cope with stress in their life and anxiety and things like that. And I was saying to Fireese that I had done this interview, and she said to me,
I was just talking about this with my friends the other day. I was just talking about this exact thing.
Yeah, so it's so funny that that topic came up with your friend group. So we haven't yet talked about this. We're just going to talk about it now. But basically what I was saying was that, number one, a lot of mental health resources are not available to a lot of people because of the cost and availability. And sometimes people, don't even know they need help. And then sometimes it's hard for young people to go to their parents and ask for help because they maybe don't know what they need.
Mm-hmm.
What were you and your friends talking about?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the stuff that me and my friends were talking about is more in the broader range of how mental health care for people in mandatory mental health courses could help prevent a lot of bad things in society. It can prevent a lot of issues with addictions. I know at a lot of schools there's issues of kids vaping and stuff, and there is addiction stuff in grade 9. You'll learn here what it is, but I feel like there needs to be more focus on addiction as a mental health issue.
Yeah, because I think that addiction is a result of some other problem that the person is dealing with. And I was saying that it should be mandatory and it should be a full course, not just a unit in phys ed, how you do units. I think it should be a mandatory full course because sometimes people don't even know they might need help. Or, as I said earlier, they don't know what help they need, so it's really hard to ask for something that you're not really sure of what to ask for. But I think not as a talk therapy thing, but as I'm thinking CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy, because those forms of therapy really give you tools to cope with things that are stressful. So it doesn't take your individual problems and let's talk about what's going on in your life. It's, okay, if this were to happen, how could you apply this knowledge? So Fireese, we're lucky because we can afford therapy. And we are also been very open about mental health and about seeking therapy if you need help. There are some families out there that struggle with having these conversations, and so it makes it hard. And so Fireese has been she did CBT and then now she's doing DBT. And what are some things that you've learned in DBT that you think teenagers would actually be able to apply?
Yeah, so just general mindfulness, being mindful of your emotions, being mindful of other people's emotions, being mindful of what is perception versus reality. So a lot of times I deal with a lot of big emotions, and I find that I misinterpret things a lot, and I perceive things to be a bigger deal than they actually are. And I find being able to be mindful of the situation and realize okay, in 2 weeks, am I really going to be upset about this? In 5 years, am I even going to remember that this happened? That kind of thing. So really mindfulness, being able to put things into perspective. Also, the communication piece is huge. Able to communicate my feelings with other people, being able to set boundaries, stand up for myself, not be a people pleaser and a pushover, all that kind of stuff.
She's actually a lot more mature when it comes to dealing with things now than I am because she has these tools in her toolkit. And we had done a video a while ago about communication and how we used to be able to, we needed to communicate via email, and then we did it, sort of over a FaceTime situation. And now we can communicate. You can talk to me about things that historically have been uncomfortable, but it's because she's built this toolkit to be able to deal with anxiety that comes up when she tries to communicate things to me that are maybe tough. So it's those sort of skills that students can learn in these type of courses. And I think everyone, when you're a teenager, struggle, like especially nowadays. I don't know any teenager who's just like going through life and all is good. Like we all have these bumps in the road, and those bumps feel so huge when you're a teenager. And so I don't know, I just really think there are courses that are mandatory that aren't as valuable as I think a full-on mental health course. I'd be curious out there, do you have any school districts that actually, first of all, offer mental health course like this, like a CBT, mindfulness, DBT, that gives you these kind of skills, and any one that is mandatory? I'm not talking about a unit, I'm talking about a full course, because if there isn't, I don't know. I'd love to make that happen, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any other thing you want to share about your toolkit and what you've learned and how valuable it could be?
I think I mostly touched on everything. I think a lot of emotional regulation is very helpful. Being able to regulate my emotions was one of the best things that I think I learned, because that kind of sets the stage for every other thing. Because if you're unable to regulate your emotions, you're unable to be mindful, you're unable to think clearly, communicate, put things in perspective. So starting with that emotional regulation tool, and a lot of that...
So what does that mean?
It's just taking your emotions from a heightened place, mm-hmm. and kind of calming yourself down enough to, not where you don't feel that emotion anymore, but to where that emotion is tolerable.
So how do you do that? Like what kind of things did you learn that...
Like lots of breathing techniques, like breathing, counting your breathing, just being aware of your breathing, imagining your breathing like in a box, so like in, hold, out, hold, that kind of stuff. There's things like you could, I forget the acronym, but like exercise, cold temperatures, all these types of things can kind of help you bring yourself down from that heightened place. And I find that the more I work on that skill and the more I focus on that skill, the less I even get to that high emotional place, and the more I'm able to kind of stop before I get to that place. So I think that's really important. And a lot of, I think, like impulsivity and that kind of stuff of teenagers comes from heightened emotions. Mm-hmm. And so being able to calm yourself and regulate is really, really helpful in every aspect of life.
Oh, I agree. Even me, like, as I said, sometimes I'm a bit envious of your ability to kind of deal with things that are really intense, and that even I would have a hard time dealing with it. But you're, and now sometimes I'll go to Fireese for suggestions. Okay, this happened. Like, talk me down. How can I apply what you've learned? And so then she teaches me, which is really, really great. But yeah, I guess that's all we wanted to talk about today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and any experiences that you have. And, you know, I know that schools have guidance counselors that people can talk to, and I honestly just don't think it's the same as giving students a toolkit that they could use for the rest of their life. Like, it's so valuable, and we would have so many more successful students because of that skill set that they'll develop. So anyway, I'm interested in hearing what you guys think, and I would love, I don't know, I'd almost love to make this happen in our school board. It would probably not come into play when you were still in school, but maybe when Hartford's in school. I don't know. Anyways, if you guys have any ideas, suggestions, information, let us know, because we are all about supporting mental health, especially with youth.
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So if you have any topics you would like us to discuss, let us know in the comments section, and we would be happy to sit down and chat about it. Probably our next video will be another song from Fireese, because she is on fire.
I've been writing a lot recently.
A lot is an understatement.
Look forward to more music.
Yeah, it's been really nice to see all the songs that she's coming out with, so we'll put more songs up. I know we have a couple topics that we also want to talk about in the future, which I think maybe some of you can relate to. But that's about it. So
yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe. Yeah.
All right. Have a good day. What?
I was going to say ring the bell.
Oh, ring that bell, yeah.
Ring the bell.
Push the bell. You're not going to get notifications.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.